What's up? What's up? What's up? It's Black Hippie 333. I want to do another video. Kind of want to do the basics of the different signs so you can kind of have an understanding of what each of them mean. So I did the sun sign, I did the moon sign. So next I'm going to do your Mercury sign. So Mercury to me is a special and important planet. I think it's one of the important ones outside of your big three, which is the sun, moon, and rising. Those are your big three. But Mercury is going to be another placement. Now, Mercury, if you don't know your placements, you can go to, a Cafe Astrology, you can go to CoStar, different apps that are going to show you what your Mercury is. So if you know your time of birth, where you were born, and your date of birth, you can look that up. And that's going to kind of show you what energy you have towards Mercury. Now, Mercury is going to be the way you think, the way you communicate, and the way you talk. So Mercury is really all about the intellect. Mercury, the two signs that are ruled by Mercury is Virgo and Gemini. Those are known as, two of the most intellectual signs. So Gemini is more of the outward intellectual, and Virgo is going to be the more internal, the yin intellectual. And so wherever your Mercury is placed, that's going to be, the energy of kind of how you think. So I have a Mercury in Libra, for example. So for me, the way I think, the way I communicate is it's all about balance. It's all about being able to, gracefully say something, being able to say something in a way where someone might not get offended. It can come across, depending on, your placement, as passive aggressive, aggressive. Some people may not really communicate how they think all the time based on their placements. The house that it's in is also important. And you can kind of look up what each individual house means. Just to explain a little bit better for me, I have 12th house Mercury Libra. So, 12th house is the house of secrets, the house of spirituality. So the way that I think and the way that I communicate it is very centered around spirituality, art, and coming across as beautiful, coming across as easygoing. So I'm able to connect and talk to a lot of different people. So knowing your Mercury sign is really important. And if you have a partner, if you have a friend, if you know their Mercury sign as well, sometimes it's hard to communicate certain things, or maybe they don't understand something when you try to communicate it to them. But if you understand how they think and kind of, how their brain and mind works, it's going to be a little bit easier to communicate that. So, just knowing your Mercury placement, knowing how to use that power, the house that it's in is important, and use it as a tool. It's not like something that you say, oh, I can only think this way, I can only be this way. One thing for me is being able to be a little bit more aggressive with how I talk. Like if I don't like something, just being able to communicate that, because I may feel that way, but I might not communicate it because I don't want to hurt their feelings. I care about, I'm compassionate when it comes to that. So it's just a great way to really get that power and not be a victim to how you think, and let that really run your life, because you're not your thoughts, right? You're not what you think. Just because you think something doesn't mean it's true, doesn't mean it's valid, doesn't mean it's the end all be all. It's just something to learn from, like a lesson that you were brought here on this earth to learn and use for your love and use for your spirit to kind of guide you through this lifetime. So just knowing your Mercury and knowing that energy is extremely helpful. It can help you with your career. It can help you with relationships. It can help you with, a plethora of things. You might have an issue that keeps coming up. And, when I was younger, it was hard for me to communicate things to people. It was hard for me to, really get out there. And it was because, how I think and how I communicate it is a little bit different. So I'm getting used to that energy. I'm trying to, mesh it with everything else that I come with, all the other energies that I contain. Because as spirits, we're not just one thing. You typically aren't going to have one person where every single thing within them aligns. So it's just important to really pick up on that energy, pay attention to it. The aspects is another layer that you'll learn later on, and I'll talk a little bit about that. But the aspects of how it relates to your moon sign, how it relates to your sun sign, how it relates to your rising, it's all gonna change, and it's gonna be situational, right? It's gonna be, at work I can think this way and I can be in this mode, but when I'm creating art, I'm gonna be in a completely different mode and be thinking completely differently. And that depends on how it's aspected based on the houses. So that's just a general overview of the Mercury sign. And Mercury is, I think. And so, you know, give me some feedback. Let me know what you think. Drop on